Go ahead.
It's my West Point Bridge project. For my cheap design brief, this is all like the criteria and straight. Had to be cheap as possible, done as soon as possible. 2 trucks need to be able to cross it without it collapsing. It could only go like so high or so low. That's basically all this is. And then for my expensive one, it had no budget limit and also needed done ASAP. And then it could only go so high or so low. Here are my 2 bridges. The cheap one up top. I went for like the X design as well. And I just found that way it was also like a lot easier to make it like as cheap as possible and as stable as possible. And then for my expensive one, kind of went for like a Golden Gate Bridge looking type thing, but then added like this stuff up top for some extra support, so it would be like, more sturdy. Design summary. For the cheap one, I tried to make it like as cheap as possible, like with the least amount of materials and like the smallest area volume, so it costs the least. I use the X formation like in the like trusses and stuff to make it like to minimize the force per like on each truss and member. I feel like the design was pretty good, but there were still some spots that you could probably make cheaper, so I wouldn't say this is like the cheapest bridge you could make. For my expensive one, I tried to copy the Golden Gate Bridge. I tried to make it similar with like the 2 cable supports on the outsides, like with these. And then the cable supports made it a lot more expensive, so that was a good thing since there was no limit for this one. I also tried to use like the most expensive materials to drive up the price for the bridge as well. Cost calculation, for my cheap one, I used a lot of different like materials for like different sizes and everything. So like I got down to, on some of the things, I got down to like 80 by 80 carbon steel tube. And then my most expensive one was a 260 by 260 quenched and tempered steel tube. And then for my expensive bridge, I used like all the same stuff basically because I was trying to make it cost the most.
So how much was the cheap bridge?
The cheap bridge was $240,358.82. Expensive one was $750,721.
Okay.
Here are the videos. This one bends a bit, but truck got across, so
That's good.
here's the expensive one.
Oh, that one's solid.
Yep. Then that's basically it.
Okay.